The sun blazed over the streets of a quiet town as a young boy named Junior trudged home from school, tears streaming down his face. His uniform shirt clung to his skin, soaked with sweat and sorrow. He had lost something precious, his school tuition money. It had slipped out of his pocket without him noticing, and now all he had was panic and dread. He wiped his face with the back of his hand, choking back sobs. People walked past him. Some glanced, none stopped. To them, he was just another crying kid on a hot day. But someone did notice. A middle-aged woman sitting under a worn-out umbrella beside a small roadside stand looked up from her baskets of tomatoes and chili peppers. Her name was Mama Claris, and she had seen many faces in her life. But something about this boy broke her heart. She stood slowly, her knees stiff from sitting too long. "Hey, sweetheart," she called gently. "Why are you crying like that?" Junior sniffled and looked up. "Ma'am, I lost the money, the school fees. I kept them in my pocket and now they're gone. I looked everywhere." Claris walked over, crouching to his level. "It's okay, take a deep breath. Tell me what happened." Junior explained through sniffles. "My dad lost his job. My stepmom gave me money this morning to pay school. She said if I come home without the receipt, she'll hit me. She might even throw my dad out. I don't know what to do." Claris swallowed hard. She didn't have much herself, just a widow trying to get by selling tomatoes under the sun. Everything she earned each day barely covered dinner. But this boy's trembling voice stirred something deep in her. "How much are your school fees?" she asked. "Just 1,000 francs, he whispered. Claris bent down, opened the rusty tin box under her stand, and pulled out a few folded bills, the only money she had earned all day. Without hesitation, she placed them in Junior's hands. "Here," she said softly, "go pay your fees. Just promise me something. Stay in school. Don't fall in with the wrong crowd. Make this count." Junior's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" She smiled. "I'm sure. It's everything I have, but maybe you'll be someone great one day. Just don't forget my name, Mama Claris." Junior held the money tight, tears rolling again, this time from gratitude. "I'll never forget you. When I grow up, I'll find you and thank you properly. I promise." Claris laid a gentle hand on his head and whispered a quiet prayer. Then she walked back to her Adandan, still with nothing to eat but with peace in her heart. Junior ran to school just before the gate closed. As he handed over the tuition and got his receipt, he looked back toward the road and whispered, "God bless that woman." That evening, Junior came home. His father, a tired man worn down by months of joblessness and household stress, sat on a cracked bench outside the door. "You're back. Did you pay the fees?" he asked. Junior nodded and handed over the receipt. His father let out a long breath. "Good. That's one less thing for your stepmother to yell about." But then Junior hesitated. "Dad, I have to tell you something." "What is it?" his father asked, raising an eyebrow. I lost the money earlier today. I think it fell from my pocket. I looked everywhere." His father's expression shifted, anger, fear, exhaustion. "Junior, do you realize what that money meant to us? She's going to say I'm useless again. She might throw us both out." "I know, Dad, but a woman helped me. She saw me crying and gave me her last money. She sells tomatoes by the roadside. Her name is Mama Claris." The room went silent. Junior's father slowly sat down. His voice dropped. "A stranger helped you? Just like that?" Junior nodded. "She said she believed in me." His father looked down at the floor. "Then we owe her thanks, deep thanks. We'll find her tomorrow. People like that, they don't come around often." Meanwhile, across town, Mama Claris was living a nightmare. She had opened her stall early, stomach empty, heart content. She had helped someone yesterday. That meant something. But just after sunrise, trucks came rumbling down the road. Men in uniforms, megaphones shouting, "This is government land. All illegal stalls must be cleared immediately." Before she could grab her things, they tore everything down. Her tomatoes spilled. Her old umbrella snapped in half. She begged them to wait. They didn't. In minutes, everything she owned, her tiny business, her only source of income, was gone. Dust covered her sandals as she walked home, head spinning. What am I going to tell Layla? But when she turned onto her street, her heart sank further. Her daughter was already outside, crying. Their belongings were dumped on the sidewalk. The landlord, arms crossed, sneered, "You're 6 months behind on rent. I warned you, I'm done waiting." "Please," Clarice begged. "I just lost my stall today. Please give me some time." He shook his head. "I already found new tenants. You and your daughter can sleep wherever you want, but not here." He slammed the gate. Clarice and her daughter sat beside their bags, abandoned by everyone. Some watched, some whispered. No one helped. Clarice pulled Layla close. Her voice cracked. "I'm so sorry, baby. I really tried." And Layla whispered through tears, "I know, Mama. You're the best mother in the world. And God will help us." That night, Clarice and her daughter Layla curled up on the sidewalk beside their bags. No food, no roof, no light. Just a mother holding her child beneath the stars. Clarice whispered, her voice trembling, "I'm sorry, baby. I really tried." Layla rested her head on her mother's shoulder. "I know, Mom. You're the best mother in the world. God will help us. I believe that." Clarice looked up at the night sky, her lips barely moving. "Lord, I don't regret helping that boy. If I had to choose again, I'd still give him my last franc. But please do a miracle." Even as the cold bit into their bones, Clarice kept her faith. By sunrise, mother and daughter sat quietly, their bodies sore from the hard ground. Clarice rubbed her daughter's back. "We can't stay like this, sweetheart. Let's go to the next town. I have an old friend there, Sister Nadej. Maybe she can help." Layla nodded. She didn't question her mother. No matter how dark things got, she always trusted her. Clarice took the last money she had, just enough for 2 bus tickets. They squeezed into the back of a crowded, aging bus, holding their bags tightly. The ride took only an hour, but it felt like forever. Clarice stared out the window, praying with every bump in the road. They finally arrived in front of an old green gate Clarice remembered well. She knocked gently. "Please let her still be here," she prayed. The gate creaked open. Standing there was Sister Nadej, wide-eyed. "Clary?" she asked, shocked. "What happened to you?" Clarice burst into tears and hugged on her. "Sister, I've lost everything. They tore down my stall yesterday. When I got home, my landlord had thrown us out. We slept on the street." Nadej didn't hesitate. "Come inside, quickly." She gave them water, a seat, and a blanket. Then she shook her head. "Clarice, do you know what perfect timing you have? My husband and I are moving out this weekend. I was just about to return the keys to our landlord today." Clarice looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean the house is already paid up, a year in advance. Take it. I'll tell the landlord to put the lease in your name." Clarice covered her mouth with trembling hands. "You'd give me your house?" "You're my sister," Nadej said with a smile. "God must have brought you here today." Clarice fell to her knees, crying, thank you, God bless you. You don't know what this means." But Nadej wasn't done. She reached into a drawer and pulled out an envelope. "I'd been saving this for emergencies. Use it to restart your tomato business." Clarice broke down again. "Yesterday I had nothing, and now I have a roof and a second chance." Nadej held her tight. "That's what friends are for. You helped me once when I was in trouble. It's just my turn now." Layla smiled for the first time in days. "Thank you, Auntie. I'll work hard. I'll make you proud." Meanwhile, across town, Junior was staring at the broken sidewalk where a humble tomato stand once stood. "Dad, this is where she sat," he said quietly. They had taken the bus back to thank the woman who helped him, but they were too late. The entire row of roadside stalls had been bulldozed. All that remained was splintered wood and scattered baskets. No signs, no people, just silence. "This must be the government demolition," his father said. "They cleared everyone out." Junior's heart sank. "But how will we find her now?" They asked around, but no one knew. The people were gone. With heavy steps, they returned home. Waiting for them at the door was Junior's stepmother, arms crossed. "Where have you two been all day?" she snapped. Junior's father answered calmly. "We went to thank the woman who helped Junior pay his school fees." The woman squinted. "What woman?" "Junior lost the money. A poor woman selling tomatoes gave him her last cash. We wanted to thank her. She burst into laughter. You expect me to believe you spent the whole day chasing down some tomato seller? Don't be ridiculous. But it's true, Junior protested. Shut up, boy, she shouted. Your father's probably cheating on me with this woman. That's what this is about. Like father, like son. Junior's father stood frozen. How can you think that? This woman helped your stepson. You should be thankful. Get out of my house, she screamed. I'm done feeding two useless men. Go live with your little tomato angel. Before they could say another word, she threw their clothes into the street. Bags, shirts, shoes, everything landed in the dirt. Junior and his father gathered what they could and walked away in silence. Eventually, they found a small corner shop with a bench out front. The shopkeeper, a kind older man, saw their condition and let them sit for a while. As they rested, Junior's father looked across the street. There was a tiny lotto kiosk. Nothing special, just a window and a flickering sign. Today might be your lucky day. He stood up. Junior, wait here. I'll be right back. Where are you going? Just trying something. Inside the booth, he used his last bit of change, enough for one lottery ticket. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't hope. It was desperation, a distraction. He picked some random numbers, signed the slip, and walked out. He didn't even look back. A few days later, he returned to the same shop just to check the results. He handed over the ticket. The clerk's eyes widened. Sir, hold on, he said, double-checking the numbers. Sir, this is the winning ticket. Junior's father blinked. What do you mean? You just won the jackpot, the man stammered, grabbing the counter for balance. Sir, you've won millions. Junior's father went still. His hands began to shake. He sat down on the sidewalk and whispered, God, is this real? And then he wept, not just from joy, but from exhaustion, disbelief, and the release of years of silent pain. Everything had changed. Junior's father sat frozen in that tiny lottery office. His knees trembled. He lowered himself into a chair, his face buried in his hands. Tears streamed down, tears of shock, tears of release, tears of everything. Lord, is this real? He whispered. Just days ago, they were sleeping on concrete. Now they were millionaires. No more hunger, no more shame, no more silent nights filled with fear. Years passed. Junior was no longer the weeping boy by the roadside. He had become a tall, confident young man with a warm smile and a sharp mind. His voice was deep, his suits were crisp, and his ambition was unstoppable. After studying business, he launched his own company, one that quickly became one of the most successful in the country. People admired him for his innovation and humility. But beneath all his success, Junior kept one quiet promise alive in his heart. He never stopped looking for the woman who changed everything. Every year on the anniversary of that fateful day, he sat in his office and whispered, Thank you, Mama Clarice. But her stall had been demolished. No one knew where she'd gone. Still, he kept searching. One day, he told himself, Mom, I will find her. Far away in a dusty corner of a forgotten town, Mama Clarice and her daughter Layla were still fighting to survive. The money from Sister Nadej had kept them going for a while, but the restart was harder than they imagined. They now lived in a cramped room behind an old apartment building. Clarice still sold tomatoes from a roadside table. Her back ached more now, her eyesight weaker. But she didn't complain. She had a reason to push through. Her daughter. Layla had grown into a graceful young woman, disciplined, intelligent, and gentle. She had finished college a year ago but couldn't find a job. She sent applications, went to interviews, and came home disappointed every time. So day after day, she sat beside her mother, arranging tomatoes, calling out, Fresh tomatoes here, best in town. Some days they earned enough to eat. Other days, they returned home with nothing but tired feet and heavy hearts. Still, Layla stayed hopeful. Don't worry, Mom, she would say. I believe something will change. Clarice would nod and smile faintly. I hope so, sweetheart. God sees us. But deep down, she worried. Will Layla ever have a real life, a tomizu, a home that isn't falling apart? One evening, after folding up their cloth and baskets, Clarice sat beside her daughter. Layla, she said gently, do you remember that little boy I helped years ago? The one who lost his school money? Layla smiled. Yes, Mama. You've told me that story so many times. I wonder where he is now, Clarice murmured. I hope he's okay. The next morning was bright and hot. Clarice had gone to the big market early to restock. Layla stayed behind, watching their humble stall. She sat under the shade, fanning herself with a piece of cardboard. That's when a sleek black car pulled up across the road. A tall, well-dressed man stepped out. His suit was expensive, but his face was kind. He walked over and smiled. Good morning, miss. Good morning, sir, Layla said, standing up with a polite smile. I'm coming from a wedding nearby. Thought I'd grab some tomatoes on my way home. I'm making a sauce tonight. Layla nodded and began picking the ripest tomatoes. As she placed them in a bag, curiosity got the better of her. Sir, I hope this doesn't sound rude, but why does someone like you cook for yourself? No wife, no chef. The man chuckled softly. Not rude at all, no wife. My son's always abroad on business. I used to have a cook, but she moved out of town. These days, I prefer cooking myself. Layla smiled. That's admirable. The man nodded. But honestly, I'm tired of eating out. I've been looking for someone honest, smart, dependable, to help with meals. Not just a cook, but a good soul. Someone I can trust. He extended his hand. My name is Mr. Elaine. I'm a business owner. Layla shook it, surprised by his warmth. Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Layla. Mr. Elaine looked at her closely. Layla, you seem educated. What are you doing out here selling tomatoes? Layla blushed. I graduated last year. Been job hunting ever since. Nothing's worked out, so I helped my mother. He paused. What if I offered you a job? Layla's eyes widened. A job? Yes, to be my cook. Good pay, your own room. I can tell you're responsible. Of course, you'd need to cook well. She smiled nervously. I cook most of our meals, even bake cakes sometimes. My mom can vouch for me. He laughed softly. I believe you. But Layla hesitated. Sir, we don't live in the same town. That's not a problem, he said. You'd stay at my home, visit your mom twice a month. No pressure. Layla could barely believe her ears. A place to live, a future. Thank you, sir. I'm honored. But I need to ask my mother first. I want her blessing. Of course, he nodded. Here's my number. Call me tomorrow either way. He handed her a small card, picked up his tomatoes, and returned to his car. Layla sat back down, stunned. Her hands trembled as she held the card to her chest. This time her tears weren't from despair. They were from hope. Maybe, she whispered, our story really is about to change. That evening, Clarice returned from the market, exhausted. She found her daughter sitting on a chair, grinning like she had won the lottery. Layla, she said, puzzled, why are you smiling like that? Layla jumped up. Mama, I have amazing news. Clarice blinked. Tell me. A man came by the stall. His name is Mr. Elaine. He owns a business and lives in the next town. His son lives abroad, and his cook moved away. He offered me to work as his cook. Clarice's eyes widened. He just offered you a job? Buying tomatoes? Yes, Mama. He said he liked the way I spoke. He said I seemed serious. He even gave me his number. Clarice crossed her arms slowly. The smile faded from her face. And he wants you to live at his house? He said I speak well, that I seem serious, Layla explained. He said I could live in his home and that he'd take good care of me. Clarice's smile vanished. She straightened up, alarmed. Live in his house, she repeated. Layla, you know how dangerous this world is. What if he's a trafficker, or God forbid, a witch doctor? These rich men they dress nice, talk nice, but who knows what they're hiding? Mom, Layla tried to stay calm. Don't mom me, Clarice snapped. I'm your mother. You don't know how many girls disappear because of opportunities like this. What if they lock you inside and no one ever sees you again? Layla gently took her mother's hand. I understand your fear, Mama, I really do. But he didn't ask anything from me. He didn't pressure me. He didn't even take my number. He gave me his and told me to think about it. Clarice looked deep into her daughter's eyes. Are you absolutely sure, Layla? Layla nodded. If something seems off, I won't stay. I'll ask around in his neighborhood. I'll be careful. Clarice let out a long, heavy sigh and looked away. You know you're all I have in this world. If something happens to you, I'm finished. Layla rested her head on her mother's shoulder. Nothing will happen to me, Mama. I promise. Maybe, just maybe, this is the breakthrough we've prayed for. I can't keep waiting for jobs that never come. Clarice slowly softened. She wiped a tear from her cheek. I just want you to be safe. I will be, Layla replied. She hugged her tightly. And when I start working, I'll send money. You won't have to sell tomatoes anymore. You'll rest, Mama. I swear it. Clarice kissed her forehead. If your heart feels at peace, then go. But promise me, be careful. Very, very careful. Layla smiled. I promise, I'll call Mr. Elaine tonight. The next morning, Layla stood outside their tiny home, phone in hand, trembling slightly as she dialed the number. It rang once, then, hello? Came a warm, calm voice. Good morning, sir. This is Layla, she said, smiling nervously. I talked to my mom. She gave me her blessing. Oh, that's wonderful news, Alon said cheerfully. Thank you for calling. I'll send you directions right now. Take a bus to my neighborhood. Someone will meet you at the station. Thank you, sir. I'll be leaving shortly. She rushed inside. Mom, I'm going now, she said. Clarice hugged her tightly at the door. God be with you, my child. Don't forget what I said. Keep your eyes open. Trust your instincts. I will, Mama. Layla grabbed her small bag, gave her mother one last hug, and left for the bus station. The ride lasted almost an hour, but to Layla, it felt like stepping into another world. At the bus stop, a polite man in a clean white shirt approached her. Are you Miss Layla? Yes, she replied. Please follow me. My boss is waiting. They drove through a quiet neighborhood lined with trees, flowers, and peaceful homes. When they pulled up to Mr. Elaine's house, Layla's jaw dropped. It was large, white, and surrounded by vibrant flowers. It looked like something from a magazine. Mr. Elaine came out to greet her. Welcome, Layla. Come in. This is your new home. Thank you, sir. It's beautiful here. He showed her a cozy, clean room with a real bed, a wardrobe, and even a small mirror. This is yours now. The kitchen's just down the hall. Just be yourself and cook from the heart. That's all I ask. Layla smiled. Yes, sir. That day she got to work, cleaning the kitchen, cooking rice with fried fish. By evening, the house smelled like home. Mr. Elaine took a bite and smiled. This is the best meal I've had in months. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. Mr. Elaine's son, Junior, returned home from his business trip abroad. He hadn't told anyone he was coming. The gate opened quietly as his car pulled into the driveway. He walked into the house, pulled by the scent of something rich and spicy from the kitchen. There, standing at the stove, was a young woman he had never seen before. She stirred the pot with care, her face serene, her focus unshaken. Hello, he said softly. Layla turned, startled but composed. Hello, sir. I'm Junior, he said, smiling. You must be the new cook. Yes, sir. I'm Layla. Nice to meet you. Junior grinned. Well, something smells incredible. Thank you, she said shyly. He went to the living room, dropped his bags, and found his father. Dad, I'm back. Junior, you came early, Alan said. How was your trip? Fine, but Dad... He leaned in and whispered, You never told me the new cook was this pretty. Hey, Elaine laughed, putting down his newspaper. Don't even start. She's here to cook, not to be chased around the house. I'm just being honest, Junior chuckled. She's beautiful and smells like dinner. From that day on, Junior found every excuse to hang out in the kitchen. He'd ask silly questions like, Is the rice done yet? Even after eating it. Or, Layla, can you teach me how to boil water? Layla would laugh. Sir, you don't need to boil water. You already have me here. And he'd smile back. Exactly. That's why I like it in here. He helped her carry tomatoes from the market. He even surprised her with a cute apron that had her name stitched in gold thread. But Junior never crossed the line. He never made her uncomfortable. He never made it about power or money. He simply respected her. And she began to wait each morning for the sound of his footsteps. She'd fix her hair in the reflection of a spoon. She cooked with extra care, hoping he'd be the first to taste. One golden evening, Mr. Elaine walked into the kitchen and found her humming as she chopped onions. "She looks happy," he said aloud. Layla blushed. "I'm just thankful, sir." "And you're a blessing in this house," he replied. That weekend, he handed her an envelope. "Go see your mother. You must miss her." Layla packed some groceries and with her first paycheck, bought a beautiful new cloth and a pair of soft sandals for her mom. When she arrived, Clarice rushed to hug her. "My daughter, you're glowing. Look at you. God has truly remembered us." "I missed you, Mama." They sat, shared a warm meal, and then Layla cleared her throat. "Mom, I have to tell you something." Clarice looked up. "What is it?" "There's a man, Mr. Elaine's son. His name is Junior. He's young, tall. He's handsome, respectful, funny." Layla's voice softened. "And Mama, I think I'm falling in love with him." Clarice's eyes widened. "Layla, you're falling in love?" Layla nodded slowly. "Yes, I haven't told him. I don't even know if he feels the same, but there's something about him. The way he talks to me, the way he looks at me, the way he makes me laugh." Clarice smiled gently and folded her arms. "Love is a beautiful thing, daughter, but it can be dangerous too. Don't rush." "I'm not rushing, Mama," Layla said. "It's just, my heart feels lighter when he's around, like everything makes sense." Clarice chuckled. "That's exactly how it starts." Layla grinned. "What if he feels the same way?" Clarice leaned forward and took her daughter's hands. "Then pray, my child. If it's from God, no one can stop it." Layla hugged her tightly, her heart blooming like a flower touched by spring. Back at the big house, Junior lay on his bed staring at the ceiling, a half smile tugging at his lips. "That girl, Layla," he whispered. "There's something about her. I think I'm in love." Later, he sat quietly in the garden watching the breeze pass through the flowers. He had traveled the world, spoken at conferences, danced at parties, yet nothing had ever moved him like her. She was on his mind, in his heart, everywhere. He stood, walked into the living room, and found his father sipping tea with the morning paper in hand. "Dad," Junior said, standing in front of him. Alain looked up. "You look serious. Everything okay?" Junior nodded, then exhaled. "Dad, I'm in love with Layla." Mr. Elaine put down his cup, smiling knowingly. "I knew it." "You did?" "Of course, I've seen how you hover around the kitchen like a puppy." Junior smiled, embarrassed. "It's real, Dad. I want to marry her, as soon as possible. I don't want to wait." Alain stood and placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "Then do it, son. You've made a fine choice. That girl is humble, respectful, well-mannered, smart, and beautiful. Any man would be lucky to have her." Junior sighed. "Thanks, Dad. I don't know how to tell her. What if she doesn't feel the same?" "You, afraid of rejection?" His father laughed. "Just tell her, from the heart. Even if she says no, at least you'll know. But I have a feeling you won't be disappointed." Junior looked down. "I hope you're right." The next day, Layla returned from visiting her mother. She looked radiant, like peace and hope had washed over her. As she stepped through the door, Junior appeared with perfect timing. "Welcome back," he said, smiling. "Thank you, sir," she replied. "No more, sir. Just call me Junior." Layla laughed. "Okay, Junior." He hesitated, then spoke. "Layla, can we talk, just for a few minutes?" "Sure," she said, heart suddenly pounding. He led her to the garden behind the house. The sun hung low, painting the sky in soft oranges and gold. Flowers danced gently in the wind. The moment felt like a secret. He turned to her. "Layla," he said, voice slightly shaky, "this might sound strange or sudden, but I can't keep it in anymore." She held her breath. "I'm in love with you," he said. "Since the first day I saw you in this kitchen, the way you moved, the way you smiled, the way you made this house feel alive. You took my heart, and I'm not asking for it back." Layla's eyes widened. "I'm not wasting time, Layla. Life's too short. I know what I want. I want you. Will you marry me?" A silence fell between them. Then Layla stepped closer, her voice soft, eyes sparkling. "Junior, I've loved you too, from the very first day, but I didn't say anything. Why? Because I'm a woman and I wanted you to say it first, she teased with a smile. Junior laughed, overwhelmed. So all this time, you felt the same? Layla nodded. Junior gently took her hands. I love you, Layla, with all my heart. Will you marry me? She smiled. Yes, Junior, I will. He pulled her into his arms. The breeze picked up. The garden seemed to come alive with them. From the window, Mr. Elaine smiled softly. This, he whispered, is what happens when fate speaks. And across town, in a small room, Clarice knelt in prayer. Lord, she whispered, wherever my daughter is, let her be happy. She didn't know that her daughter was already stepping into that very blessing. A few days later, Junior turned to Layla. I want to meet your mother, he said. I want to thank her for raising someone so incredible. And I want to look her in the eye when I tell her, I want to marry you. Layla smiled and nodded. She'll be so happy to meet you. That Saturday morning, they dressed simply but tastefully. Junior looked calm, but inside his heart raced. On the way to her neighborhood, he asked, what if she doesn't like me? She'll love you, Layla said, squeezing his hand. Just be you. They arrived in the quiet neighborhood. The streets were lined with small houses and the scent of home-cooked food drifted in the breeze. They knocked on the modest door. Inside, the home was humble but warm. There was peace in the walls and a softness in the air. Is your mother here? Junior asked. She may have stepped out, Layla said. She'll be back soon. Moments later, the door opened. Clarice walked in, carrying a black bag of groceries. She looked tired, but her eyes lit up when she saw her daughter. My daughter, you didn't tell me you were coming. Layla smiled. I wanted to surprise you, and I brought someone. Clarice turned. Junior stood and bowed politely. Hello, ma'am. Clarice smiled politely. Well, you didn't tell me your guest was so charming. She turned away, but Junior didn't move. Something tugged at his memory, a voice, a face. She turned back, and he stepped forward, eyes wide, voice shaking just slightly. Ma'am, is your name Clarice? Clarice furrowed her brow. Yes. Why? Junior's voice softened. Do you remember a little boy? Years ago, crying by the roadside. He lost his school money. You were selling tomatoes. Clarice's face began to shift. You sat me down, you listened, and you gave me your last money. You said, my name is Clarice. Don't forget it. Clarice's mouth opened slowly. Her hand trembled. Wait, you're that boy? Junior nodded, tears welling in his eyes. Yes, Mama, I'm that boy. And your kindness, it changed everything. Junior remained on his knees. You didn't just help me, he said, voice full of emotion. You saved me from shame, from fear, from being broken. And today I've come back, not just to thank you, but to bless you and to marry your daughter. Layla, overwhelmed, gently placed a hand on her mother's back. Mama, I didn't know either, until this moment. Clarice stood frozen, her hands covering her mouth. Tears flooded her eyes. She trembled as she looked between the man her daughter loved and the boy she once saved with her last coin. Look what God has done, she whispered. You've grown into a man, and he brought you back here. Junior stood and took her hands gently. I want to honor you the way you once honored me. I want to marry your daughter and take care of you both. This isn't just love, Mama, it's destiny. Clarice fell to her knees, sobbing. Lord, you are faithful. My daughter, you've fallen in love with an angel. Layla wiped her tears. I didn't know it was him, Mama. I loved him for who he is, not who he was. Clarice looked at Junior, still overcome. You're welcome here, my son. You were a lost child, and today you return as a blessed man. He wrapped her in a hug, and in that tiny living room, hearts were healed, prayers were answered, and a future full of light was born. The very next morning, Junior rose with one mission in mind: honor the woman who once gave him everything when she had nothing. Later that day, he invited Clarice and Layla to sit outside the house. A black SUV pulled up quietly. 4 men stepped out, carrying large sacks of rice, boxes of cooking oil, fresh cookware, and 2 exquisite fabrics wrapped in gold-trimmed paper. Clarice stood up, stunned. What's happening? Junior smiled gently. This is just the beginning, Mama. One of the men handed Clarice a brown envelope. She opened it slowly. Her hands began to tremble. Inside was a check for millions of CFA francs. "Junior, what is this?" "It's for you, Mama," he said softly, "for all the rent you couldn't pay, for your stall that was destroyed, for every hungry night, for that last frenig you gave me when no one else cared. You deserve this, and so much more." Clarice began to cry, too stunned to speak. But it wasn't over. Junior stepped forward again, this time holding a smaller envelope. "There's still one more thing." Clarice opened it and gasped. A set of keys and a property deed. "These are yours," Junior said. "A fully furnished, 3-bedroom house, right here in the city, paid in full, in your name. You'll never pay rent again." "Never," she whispered before collapsing to her knees, weeping uncontrollably. "God, have you remembered me? You've blessed me." Layla held her mother close. "Mama, this is your reward. God never forgot you." A few weeks later, under the soft blue sky, Junior and Layla were married in a quiet garden ceremony. The decorations were simple but full of meaning. Laughter filled the air. Love was everywhere. Layla wore a flowing white gown. Her smile was brighter than the sun. Junior stood beside her, grinning ear to ear. Mr. Alain sat proudly in the front row. And beside him, radiant in her new outfit, sat Clarice, no longer the tomato vendor in the dust, but the mother of the bride. As music played, Junior leaned over and whispered, "I told you I don't waste time." Layla giggled, "And I told you I loved you from day one." Junior turned to glance at Clarice, who was laughing and dancing with the neighbors. "She gave me her last franc, and today I'm giving her my best." Months later, the house echoed with new life. Layla gave birth to twin baby boys. The home was filled with joy, tears, and laughter. Mr. Alain carried one grandchild proudly, while Clarice cradled the other with trembling arms. "My daughter," she whispered, eyes wet, "God has doubled your blessing." Junior wrapped his arms around Layla and whispered, "You've made me the happiest man in the world." And so they lived, not in perfection, but in peace, in a home built not just on wealth, but on kindness, faith, and a single selfless act that changed everything. From a roadside tear to a lifetime of gratitude. The end. Thank you for reading this story. What lesson did you take from it? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you felt moved like this video, share it with someone who needs to be reminded that no good deed goes unnoticed. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories of hope and transformation. See you next time.